So how are you, Bhanu?
Nice to see you. I'm very well. Thank you so much. Thanks for doing this. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. And I'd just like to first of all welcome you to Mimi Meets. Basically, I'm Movie Mad Mimi. Congrats on the launch of Bob Biswas.
Yes, it's been a life-changing weekend.
I love the film. I've actually seen it twice. I thought it was great, and I love the take on this because when I watched Kahani, I was expecting like it might be similar, like as in it might be a thriller also, but this is more like a dark comedy, which is so delicious.
Yeah, in fact, it's great to have an intelligent viewer like you. You know, I don't need to explain what we were trying to do with the film. You just got it exactly. I guess it also worked in our favor and also against us that we were compared to Kahani. So whoever went in expecting another Kahani is sort of thinking, okay, this is not Kahani. Yes, it is not Kahani. It is a completely different film. It is a completely different take on things. And exactly, it's actually a dark comedy. And in fact, people who went in fresh without any preconceived notions, they all love the film. But people who are comparing it to Kahani are kind of like, but you know, that comparison is not warranted. I understand why people are doing it, I get, but it's not warranted.
For me, it's so different. Like, it's such a different film. It's a standalone film. And Abhishek, I've heard say that many times as well. It's his different take on it. And I think he has made like an iconic mark on the Bob Biswas character. And hopefully we can expect more of this universe, because I do love what Dia has done with it.
Exactly. But you know, the great thing about OTT is, Mimi, that the film ultimately will find its audience. You know what I'm saying? So there are many kinds of audiences. But the greatest thing about the OTT is that, okay, there's a kind of thing, there's a kind of audience which is really looking forward, expecting, you know, this film is going to come out at 12 o'clock on Friday and I'm going to be the first one to see it because I'm so excited. But then there's a whole different audience who, like, you know, want to watch something on a Sunday. Okay, this looks interesting. And then they go to it. Maybe 2 weeks later, some other people go to it. So it's a wonderful medium where, you know, every good work done well will find its audience. It is undeniable and inevitable if the work is done well, you know. And Bob is a great film. See, everyone might have their opinions on whether they like this or like that, but you can't deny it's a well-made, professional, really well-made piece of work. And that's okay, I get it. In art, you know, it is open to opinions. You can say one thing, somebody else can have another opinion, and that's valid.
100% I agree with everything you've said, because I mean, and your kind of your character Jishu in the film is kind of a gray character, and I know you do love playing the gray characters, because at first he feels like I'm thinking, is he the police? But then he's not. He's kind of like, what I love is, like, he says achayo burai ka balance rakhta hu main, and I love that line. It's like she might have become one of my favorite lines.
Absolutely. You know, it's actually a real pleasure talking to someone who's so well informed and about the film.
Oh, thank you.
See, so it's magic. So, okay, so let me tell you first how I got the film, right? So, see, whatever is happening in my life right now, this is my breakout part, you know, in many ways. And so, your Mukesh Chhabra bhai, the biggest casting director in India, is absolutely paramount in what all is happening in my work, because he was the one who kept pushing me. He was the one who kept encouraging me. He always used to tell me, you're a great actor, keep at it, good things are going to happen, good things are going to happen. And finally, you know, I was auditioning with him for about 10 years, you know, and finally I got cast in Typewriter. So Sujoy Da was making a web series on Netflix called Typewriter, right? So I got cast in a part who's sort of an assassin, but who is a mathematical genius, right? So I was ecstatic. I was ecstatic about getting that part. But then one day Sujoy Da called me and he said, yeah, the problem is that you're looking too young for the part. And I was like, well, Dada, you've written the part, so well, make him younger, right? He said, I need someone weathered and, you know, kind of weather beaten and all of that. So he's like, okay, let's try with makeup. But, you know, as things went down, he said, yeah, you're not looking the part. I love you as an actor, but you're not looking the part. So let's work on something later. I was like, okay, well, I was dejected, obviously. So then out of the blue, after about 6-7 months, I got a call from again Mukesh Bhai's office. Hiren was calling me. Hiren is the casting assistant of Mukesh Bhai.
Yeah.
So he said, we're making a film called Bob Biswas. And so there's this part of David, which is a cameo. You know, it's just a 1
David
or 2
Matthews,
day shoot.
yeah.
Yeah, he plays Chitrangada's ex-first husband. And he's kind of like, you know, Vidya Balan's first husband in Kahani.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, Indranil, the part that Indranil played. He said, no, the first husband. And I was like, I don't even remember who the first husband is.
The one in the train.
Yeah, so he's like, well, it won't be that big a part. But I was so desperate to work with Sujoyda, and I'd never refuse Mukesh Bhai. Mukesh Bhai, whatever Mukesh Bhai offers me, it's always a yes from me. So I was like, okay, let's do it. I just want to start working with Sujoyda. And I got finalized for the part. It was a 2-day shoot, and you know, I was just waiting for when I'll be called to Kolkata to shoot. I was living my life. All of a sudden, 1 week later, I again got a call from Hiren. He said, are you free for these? He gave me a bunch of dates, like 20-25 days. Are you free on these dates? I'm like, yeah, well, I'm free. And he's like, listen, we're changing your part. We're putting you into this part, Jishu, and it's a great part. You're going to love it. Just say yes. Just say yes. I'm like, yeah, well, okay. I'm sure it's better than this part. So yeah, I say yes. I don't know what the part is, but yeah, well, okay, yes. And then the assistant called me and he said, congratulations. I was like, oh, congratulations. Okay. And he's like, okay, sir, I'm going to send you the script. I said, listen, don't send me the script. Just send me my scenes. Because my attitude at that time in films was, I'll probably have 1 scene, you know, 2 scenes. And why do I need to read the whole script? Just send me my scene. And, you know, so he sent me the script. But I was like, oh God, now I have to read the script. But on the front page of the script, Jishu was written, my character's name. I was like, okay, this has not happened before. And then I started reading the script. And I was after every 2 pages, my character comes. And then he has this big scene with Abhishek. And as I read the script, I realized, oh my God, this is the part of my life. This is such a great part. And I had to leave for Kolkata the next day to start shooting. No preparation, no nothing. Today I get the script. Today I get cast. Tomorrow I'm shooting. And that's how it happened. And the next day I was on set. Next day I was in Kolkata. We did 1 read-through with Abhishek Bhai, Chitrangada, Sujoyda and Tia. And that's it. The next day I was on set playing this part. So, you know, it was such a magical journey for me. And things came together like this.
It's beautiful, like the way you described it, it's so magical, yet like you said, and actually, and it was so nice to see you with Abhishek again, because I mean, I love the chemistry Bob has with Jishu, and he's kind of like, he's the antagonist in Bob's life, I would say, because Bob is kind of the hero in this story, not hero, but like he's a hero in his own story, but Jishu is the one who kind of lures him back into this old life and kind of he's the kind of bad influence, I would say, like to Bob. And I love the chemistry you had. So what was that like, working with Abhishek and that chemistry together?
Again, everything about this part in this film for me has been magic. So the film I did before this film was Ludo, right? I was in Ludo with Abhishek Bhai. He's a great guy. He's a very generous, helpful co-actor. He's a wonderful person. And he was gracious enough during Ludo to kind of, you know, take me under his wing. And I was very comfortable working with him, you know, in Ludo. And can you imagine, immediately the next job I'm doing, so there's no preparation, no nothing. And can you imagine what the first scene we shot was? That scene towards the end, where I asked him, why aren't you doing the job that I asked you to do? Can you imagine? And I have to intimidate him.
You're kind of, that's almost like bullying him.
Exactly, I'm bullying him in the scene, right? So if I didn't have that comfort level with him, if I hadn't worked with him on Ludo, it's impossible for me to do that scene as well as I was able to do. But because I was so comfortable with Abhishek Bhai, and it was completely tables turned, because in Ludo, he's scaring me in the whole film. He's beating me up. And in this one, I'm scaring him in the whole film.
He's the Sharif one in this.
He's the Sharif one, right? So it was an absolute pleasure and magical. But and also, you know, maybe one of the reasons why I want to talk about this part a lot is for aspiring artists and actors out there. Because, you know, what I want to convey is that if you just keep at your craft, if you just keep working at it, magic happens in ways you can't even envision. anyone who will keep working at their craft, honing their craft, and every day you will be able to peel off layers and understand, oh wow, this also worked. Oh wow, this also worked. So right now I'm in a process of just, gratitude and thinking back and thinking, wow, yeah, this also worked, that also worked. So it's almost like everything in my life was leading me up to this performance. So I'm just blown away.
It's absolutely magical as well, like because of the fact that I mean, I love like all your other work that you've done, and I know you've played like grey characters before, and so like Mehin Dain Chokir Bali was like so grey, and
I love it.
Absolutely wonderful to I would love to talk more about that and your cinematic journey as well. But before I do, can I ask you kind of a movie mad question, which I love to ask everyone? Like, what's the first film that made you fall in love with cinema?
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a good question. First film, what's yours?
I would say Karan Arjun. I don't know. I just was a young child. I grew up watching Karan Arjun.
I've also seen Karan Arjun in the cinema, but I won't go as far as to say that as it made me fall in love with cinema. I don't know, yaar. See, actually, you know what? I didn't become an actor because I was in love with cinema so much.
Yeah.
I love the craft of acting, and of course I like cinema as much as all Indians do, but it wasn't like, oh, I saw a film and I was like, yeah that's what I want to do.
It wasn't because of that.
No, not at all. In fact, I actually started doing theater first, and it had nothing to do with the cinema, and I just liked the mechanics of acting. You know what I'm saying? The nuts and bolts of
and
more than
the role and the acting process.
Yeah, the workshop process of it, where you all sit around a circle
and the improvisation that you go through
in a group work. Exactly. That's what really excited me. And in fact, it wasn't even a conscious decision to do films or to become a film actor. It's just that one thing kept leading to the other. I just kept following my gut. In fact, I was obsessed with going to NSD. That was my dream, to go to the National School of Drama. I was just obsessed about, and I honestly was not even very fascinated by the theater. It wasn't like I loved the theater. No, I just wanted to learn my craft. I just wanted to learn the craft of acting. And that was place, and NSD I thought was the place where I could do it. And it's a very weird thing. I'm not in fact, I don't even watch many movies. Watching for me actually is work. So when I because, I see it, I know what's happening. Okay, this is that shot, and okay, this is the cut, and
and you and especially if you've been in the film, you would know everything like before.
Oh, if you've been in the film, then it's torture, because all you can see are the mistakes you made. You could have done this better and all of that. So, but having said that, there are a bunch of films which I see every time I want to get re-inspired. To act, whenever you feel, okay, I want to remember why I got into this. Which kind of actors? So it's more about actors for me, more than a particular film. Actually, a particular actors in particular films. So that is like, oh, wow, let's see that. And then it inspires you to act. So in that, Godfather, I am sure everyone says Godfather, right?
I love the Godfather, definitely.
Then just Marlon Brando's scenes in The Streetcar Named Desire. Only Marlon Brando scenes.
Stanley Kowalski, I love him.
Stanley Kowalski, because I forward everything else. I only want to see his work.
He's so good. Like, he's so good in it.
He changed acting. That performance changed acting forever. We're all his children, whether we know it, whether we admit it. Everyone, we're all doing what he did, and the lineage sort of continues. Besides that, who else? I guess essentially Denzel. I love Denzel. So I like watching Denzel a lot. So these films, these actors inspire.
So how do you kind of usually begin your acting process? Like when you get a new role? Like I know you said with Bob Biswas it happened like all of a sudden, but like how do you usually begin your acting process?
See, maybe it's different with every part, and that's the fun thing. I don't have a set process, so it's different with every part. So let's talk about Bob, for example. So with Bob, as soon as I read the script, I was like, this is sacrosanct. this is the Bible for me now, because it's so well written.
Yeah.
It's so beautifully written. And all I need to do is execute what is written on the page, right? I don't have to do anything else. I just have to do what is written. It's like doing a Shakespeare play. If you just get the lines, if you just get the meter of the lines, the poetry of the lines, the performance is in that. So Sujoyda had written such a great part. I was like, wow, what, that line is such a beautiful line.
Yeah, a child Brian balance.
And it tells you so much about the character.
It told me instantly what you were, like what Jishu was instantly.
Yeah, because it tells you that, oh, even though he's doing all these dirty things, he thinks of it as something very noble.
Yeah.
As if he's, he's the one who's, holding the world in place, and, he kind of has this God complex that, okay, he's doing God's work, and it was such a philosophical take on things. I was like, wow, what kind of a guy talks like this? What kind of a guy would say that? And after we did the first reading, we all went back to the hotel, and Sujoyda didn't say anything to me. And they were happy, and Sujoyda didn't say anything. And in the night, he called me down. And he said, see, that's also one of the symptoms of a master director or a master writer. He is a master director, but he wasn't directing us in this, but he's also a master writer.
Yeah.
He didn't give me like a bunch of notes. He didn't talk for like 20 minutes, because I've worked with people who talk about the character for like 30 minutes. And in the end, my only question is, yeah, all that is okay, but what do you want me to do? None of this is actionable. Yeah, none of this is actionable. I can't act any of these things, what you said. Yeah, it's great, but what do I do? He said, Bhanu, when I wrote Jishu, I wrote him as very British. That's it. Everything just clicked into place for me. I'm like, yes, he's British. That's why he's kind of sardonic. He's kind of sarcastic. He'll never, in fact, the scene where you see him lose his cool, that's actually because he feels out of control. That's not how he sees himself. He sees himself as someone who's always in control, who's got everything under his thumb, and he can manipulate people. He's like
so calm, like when he's placing the pictures, and he's saying all of these have one thing in common. It's just so calm the way he does it.
Oh, exactly, and it was that one direction, one piece of actionable advice. He's very British, that it all just clicked for me. Nothing else. Obviously, when Dia would work with us on the scenes, she would obviously direct us in the scenes about particular actions in the scene as you are acting in the scene. But in terms of what the character was, how he viewed the world, how he behaved, that one piece of advice, he's very British, just seal the deal. So in that sense, with Bob, it was absolutely just do what is written in the script. Because it was such a beautifully written piece that you don't have. In fact, if you try to do much, if you try to improvise, you'll ruin it.
Yeah.
You'll ruin everything. Because one thing leads to the other, and there is a meter to the dialogues. There is one dialogue leads to the next. It is a beautifully written piece. So in terms of this particular character, it was just about following the script to the T.
And I think it works so well, because I did love your character, especially because I just love the whole dynamic that you had with Bob, and then you're like thinking, I was so confused, thinking, oh my god, like who is he working for? Like it's so weird. Like I'm just trying to like draw the lines, like is he working for this guy? Is he working, because it's just so confusing, and I just love the fact that it's so confusing.
Absolutely. So the thing about this was that this character, you are never sure about what he is.
Yeah, and I think there could be a backstory in maybe in a future film. It could be a backstory.
The next spin-off. Absolutely. And anyways, because also how I approach acting and a character is that, see, it's like people, like you and me are interacting here, of course. So right, we are behaving with each other in a certain way. But there is so much inside of both of us, which will not be revealed here. But it is revealed in the richness of the conversation, in the way we react, right? Similarly with Jishu.
Yeah.
Of course, he's behaving, he's doing this, but you get a sense of, oh my God, there is so much there inside this guy. So I always give this analogy of like an iceberg. So acting should be an iceberg, or your character should be an iceberg. This much should be visible, but there should be this sense of, oh my God, there's a whole world beneath here which we can't even fathom.
It's like the Freud's id, like there's a subconscious as well, like you can't see.
Yeah, you put it even better. I'm going to use that subconscious in my next.
Yeah, but I feel that, and that's what I loved about this whole world of about Biswas, because it's just everyone is grey, and I think the only people who weren't grey and were quite pure were like Mary and Benny. And I want to talk more about like your other grey role. I mean, Mehinda and Chokir Bali. I mean, it was such a fantastic role. That when you were working opposite Radhika Apte, and of course with Anurag Basu. And so what was that journey like for you working?
Actually, now that you mention it, and it is such a weird similarity. Again, in that role also, I was cast a day before I was about to shoot.
Yeah.
Weird. So actually, with that part, what happened was somebody else was playing the part. So for whatever reason, that person wasn't working for the part, and I know Abhishek Basu, Anurag Das' younger brother.
Yes.
We worked on TV on something. So he called me and he said, "Come." And so I did a small test for Dada, and he said, "Yeah, you're okay." So in fact, with that part, see, actually, that's a good. It's also a nice tip I can give to aspiring actors and aspiring artists, that when you're working with a master, all you have to do is surrender. So with Sujoyda, you have to surrender to him, and magic will happen. Same with Anuragda.
Yeah.
So when I was about to leave, to come back the next day, I asked Abhishek Da and Anurag Da. I asked Anurag, I'm sorry. I said, okay, so Dada, can I get some scenes to prepare for tomorrow or whatever? And how do you want me to prepare for this? He said, don't do any preparation. Just come empty.
Yeah.
Don't bring any baggage. Don't come with any fake. Don't come with any preconceived notions. Just come empty. And that's what I did. And one thing about that part which I really loved, which in fact Sumit told me, Sumit Vyas, the one who played Bihari, a wonderful person, wonderful actor. So he said, when I was playing the part, and he said, yeah, you know what I love? I love the fact that you are embracing his flaws, because people tend to kind of want to present themselves as likable. Every character is likable. They want to be liked by an audience.
He's not likable,
Yes, and even though he said that, I was like, wow, yeah, but I don't ever want to be likable to an audience. In fact, no, because if somebody, and I've also done television work where that was a requirement, and that is what the producers wanted from me. And for me personally, as an artist, it is the most soul destroying and killing of the creative process. This one particular thing that we have to make it likable. Because I think that's the most unlikable thing. We all know people in our life who want to be liked with everyone, and they're the most unlikable people. Everyone, see, if someone is authentic, that's what I loved about Mahen. He was authentic, man. He was like, yeah, this is who I am. Yes, this is who I am. So, and we all are like that. We all are flawed. And if you see someone embracing their flaws, or even if you see someone exposing their flaws, I think that is what makes them relatable to an audience, because he's also like me. I have these flaws. So I personally have gravitated towards, you call them gray, but I call them human beings.
Yeah.
I call them human beings, and human beings have everything. They have honor,
they have good qualities and bad qualities. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that is as soon as I see a part where I can be human, I get very excited about it.
It's just so like verbally and visually, it's so stunning to see this whole world that Anurag Basu created. And I remember towards the end when your character lies to Bihari about Binodini. Oh my God! And I heard, and I'm like, how could you even think of that? Like, whoa. And then because I hadn't read it, and so I actually was coming into this new. I was coming into this new when I watched it, and it was just like a whole like surprise. Like towards the end, I'm thinking, where's he gonna go with this? But then he ends up, what he does is quite terrible. But then
and I was so excited when I read that scene, because I also hadn't read it. I didn't know the story of Chokher. And when I got the scene to do that day, I was like, oh my God, what a scene. What a scene. And you expect him to go in confronting Bihari, right? You think he's going to confront him.
Like a sneaky way of doing what he did.
And he just lied flat to his face. And I was like, but that is what people do. That is what people do.
I actually made comparisons with someone I know. I wouldn't say, I'm not going to say anything, but like, I actually was thinking, I know somebody who
Let me guess.
kind of like.
Is it an ex? Is it an ex?
No, it's somebody I know, like a friend, but like, but it's just like, I know somebody like this, and I'm thinking, but then, and I heard that it took 40-ish takes to kind of convey that scene.
Yes, because I was trying to do too much. I was trying to do too much, and the other was like, no, just say what he's saying. Everything is unfolding on its own. Just say that. And as an actor, so that was an interesting lesson, which, again, like you said, I've obviously learned that lesson and I applied it to Jishu.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to do anything. Don't have to do anything. Just relax into it and everything will happen. But I hadn't learned that lesson at that time. So the actor in me got very excited. And I was like, wow, what a great scene. I want to hit it out of the park. Yes, I want to do the greatest acting ever done in this scene. All of that crap was in my head. Right? So it took us about 40 takes to get that crap out of my head. And I was so exhausted by the end of those takes.
And then the final take.
I'm just going to say it. And I just said it. And it was okay. Done. That was the way it was done.
It was so good. I mean, I just loved it because it just came out like it's so authentic. And I even like what he's doing is like, I'm thinking, like he's saying like something terrible, but in such a normal way. His delivery is just so normal the way he says it.
You have maybe I have to tell you, you have a great sense of acting. That because not many people will understand the emotion of the scene. I get it as an audience, but to understand the nuances of what an actor, because this is obviously a choice an actor makes, that I'm going to say it normally. It's a choice, and to understand that it's a choice and to appreciate the choice is a very big thing. Thank you so much. And you're very precise.
And I just think like it's one of my favorite roles of yours, and so I really wanted to talk about that. And then when you're talking about period pieces, I mean, I loved you in Manto. I mean, Ashok Kumar you resurrected such a cinematic icon on screen, and I absolutely thought like, wow, he actually looks like Ashok Kumar, and the way, and I actually, when I was younger, like I knew Ashok Kumar from like Mr. India time because I was young, so I saw him in his later years. But then obviously when you go back, like, and you grow up and you start watching more and more, and I'm thinking that this is definitely like, if there's a biopic that's going to be made on Ashok Kumar, I think you should definitely go for it.
But thank you. That's a great compliment. But I've done it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it. So I also get bored, because I don't want. If I do it again, it would be like, oh, I've already done it. So it won't scare me actually. So the reason why I took up that part was, it was offered to me outright. I didn't have to audition for it. So Nandita ma'am called me. She had heard about me, and she said, okay, can you do a scene? Can you perform a scene for me? And I just performed the scene normally, like I would, not like Ashok Kumar. And she was like, yeah, well, but you haven't done it like Ashok Kumar. I said, listen, ma'am, if I do it, so she called me today and she asked me to do the thing today, like on the day. And I was like, if I do it right now, it'll be some bad mimicry. It'll be caricaturish.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. She said, yeah, definitely. We don't want to go that route either. So I was like, I don't know how to do this, but I can guarantee you this, that if you ask me to play this part, I'm going to give it everything I have. So, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I'm telling you honestly. And she was like, no, I trust you. So let's do it. So I had 1 week to prepare for it. We were about to shoot his scene after 1 week, and she said, let's test in 3 days. Let's see where you're at in 3 days. I'll give you some notes so you'll have a more specific direction to prepare. So I had never played a real life character before. So all my craft that I had was of no use because I didn't know how to approach this. So I asked my wife, who's also an actor, I asked Shalini, and I asked her, what do you think I should do? She said, even I don't know. But what do you think? I said, okay, let's start watching him first. Let's start watching his work. Because, the challenge with playing Ashok Kumar in Manto especially was, like you said, most of the audience, Indian audience that would watch the film knows the older Ashok Kumar.
That's exactly, yeah.
They know that, right?
Yeah.
First of all, he's younger here.
He's much younger, yeah.
He's in the prime of his youth and his superstardom.
He's in the first 10 years of his career, I would say.
Yes. And also, first of all, he wasn't like that when he was younger. He wasn't, his mannerisms and his voice and all of that was not so pronounced. Also, you are playing him in real life. So when I act, obviously I'm not like that in life. You know what I'm saying? So the challenge of it was that I had to deduce how, because there were no interviews of him from his younger years.
Yeah.
So what I had to do was deduce how, from his acting in his younger films, how would this guy behave in his younger years? So what I did, and I completely changed followed a different process for that. Because usually, like I said, like for Bob, I told you, I work with the script. The script is sacrosanct words, right? For Maheen, what Anurag said was sacrosanct. Whatever he said, he would write the scenes on the set, we would just get them. And whatever he would say, we would just do, right? But with this one, I started from the outside in. So I just started watching. I would just get up in the morning, just watch his films from 7 in the morning to 12 o'clock in the night. Just all day, I would just watch his work. Just keep watching. And I didn't try to do anything. I didn't try to do anything. After a couple of days, I thought, let me try. I tried doing something. It felt very fake to me. It just felt very fake to me. And I was scared because, after 3 days, I had to show Nandita ma'am what I had done. But, magic happens. So that's why it's also not very good to have a very set process. So I kept watching. I don't know, something happened on the third day. I just felt like standing up and holding myself like I thought he would. And when I did that, a certain kind of voice came out. And I was like, oh, wow. Oh, yeah, this kind of sounded like him. This kind of was like him.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, great. I'm onto something now. And that gave me the confidence. And then again, all I would do is I would keep watching. But after 6-7 hours of watching, I would just try to do something. I would just try it. And as I kept doing it, it kept feeling more and more organic to me. I kept feeling, okay, yeah. This feels comfortable. Okay, now I'm feeling comfortable. I don't feel I'm doing a caricature. I feel I'm playing a person. And by the time I got on set, so the day I got on set, I was like, now forget everything. Now, because I can't act now. Because then I'll be doing, maybe I look like Ashok Kumar, sound like him, but I'll be doing bad acting. You know what I'm saying? I can't think. You have to be out of your head when you act well. You can't think and act. At least not in the conscious, you know what I'm saying? At least not in the conscious word. You have to be free enough to do anything as this person. Like you and me are interacting right now. You have to be that person, right? And also one challenge was, of course, to give a flavor of Mr. Ashok Kumar. But again, this film wasn't just for the Indian audiences. It wasn't just for people who knew who Ashok Kumar was. It was also going to Cannes. It was an international film. So for them, it shouldn't be, and the tone of the film was very realistic. So for them, it shouldn't be like, oh my God, who's this guy who's overacting? You know what I'm saying? So there was this really fine balance that I had to, achieve. And I wasn't sure if I could achieve it. So when I went on set, I met Nawaz Bhai. Nawaz Bhai is a senior of mine from drama school. But I met him in character. So I was doing the voice even when I met him. I was holding myself. I was meeting him as Ashok Kumar. I wasn't meeting him as me, and he understood. Of course, he's a great actor himself. He understood. He's
So
like,
he
okay,
understood exactly, yeah.
he's in the zone, so okay, let him be. And as soon as I said my first line when we were rehearsing, I saw the line was something. Nawaz Bhai brings Rasika to meet me, and he said, she said. And I was like, as soon as I said this line, Nawaz Bhai burst out laughing and he started clapping. And I was like, great, and I got it. He was so encouraging to me. And I interacted with him a lot because I wanted to ask him a lot of questions because he's sort of a inspiration of mine. But all my interaction I did with him as Ashok Kumar. I did not break character.
Wow.
So I was talking to him in the voice. I was talking to him with the mannerisms and all of that. So that's how that performance happened, and it was a really, really fulfilling piece of work for me.
I know, and you just reminded me of that whole party setup. Like that party is so lovely. Like, I mean, Ab Kya Batao, when you introduce Jaddan Bhai, it's just so stunning, like visually. And I think people at Cannes Film Festival would have understood that completely as well, because it's just like you said, it's more like it's kind of like subtle as well. It's not like in your face. It's not too Bollywood filmy. So for the Cannes audience, they would have understood that as well. And so I mean, actually that's one of my favorite scenes, like when you introduce Jaddan Bhai in Ab Kya Batao. And obviously, like, you've done so many films, like, for example, like films like Manto have played at Cannes, then you've done TV series like Rudrakal, and then OTT. So do you think like content has changed in the last decade, like for you, like has it in your experience?
Not in the last decade, maybe, but definitely in the last 3-4 years.
Okay.
Everything changed. This is not the business that we came into. It has completely, because it was very, so all my gratitude also goes out to, people who supported me all these years, because this is the kind of work I always wanted to do. But such work was not happening when we came here. So, every time I did a TV show or anything, it was just to prepare yourself as an actor, just to face the camera, just to learn your craft, just to hone your craft. And at that time, when I came here, that was like the peak of daily soaps, that was like the Saas Babu ruling the roost, and nothing else was happening. And I was very fortunate that my first show, it was again a great show called Special Squad. Very unique show, the kind of work I wanted to do. And it was a success. But it opened all these doors for me, all these, daily soaps. I was offered all these big daily soaps. And I was like, listen, I haven't come here to do this work. And everyone was like, you're crazy. Do you know how much money is there? Do you know how much fame? I said, listen, I don't care about all of that. I'm an artist. I'm here to be an artist. And I just feel very grateful that I had this vision and this confidence at that time to say that and to consistently work on my craft and hone my craft. So that now that the world has changed, now this is my time. My
OTT is like the time, I think, for everyone.
Absolutely. And now I'm ready. I'm prepared. All these years I spent preparing. So it's been I've been very fortunate in the sense that the people around me, my wife, my brother, my parents, of course, at that time, it was unimaginable. And because if you're not going to, I was offered all these things and big money and all of that. And they were like, if you don't want to do these things, then what do you want to do? And I didn't really have an answer because what I wanted to do did not exist. What could I tell them? I said, I want to do great work. And I'm like, okay, but what is that great work? But there was something inside me that just kept telling me that, your only job, your responsibility is to be the best actor that you can be. That's it. If you get the right opportunities or not, whether you become a success or not, none of that is in your hands. What is in your hands? Get up every day and be the best actor that you can be. And that is what I did. That is what I spent my life doing. And now, well, it's paying me.
Definitely. I kind of compared Bob Biswas to like, the Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Like he's almost like a hero in his own story. He doesn't have like, he's not like, because in usual films he's villainized, and here that villainized bit has gone. It's more like it's telling the human aspect of who is Bob Biswas, his family, people around him like Jishu, and so I actually 100% think like the whole archetype of what makes a protagonist has changed, and that has I think been, like you said, in the last couple of years especially, like this new content that's coming out from so many different platforms, so many different spaces, and like so like now, and you're not limited just to the cinema or TV soaps, like you said, like you're kind of like you have that work has been created, that the one that you were looking for basically in the last
and also I have after this I think it should come out by Feb or March. I have a web show coming out on Amazon Prime called Crash Course, and in that again the part I play, we'll have another conversation about that.
I will definitely watch that, because I think anything like, and that's what I loved about your work, Bhanu, because I mean, like, actually, when I first watched the Bob Biswas trailer, I actually instantly picked up that's Bhanu, and because your face is so memorable, I was like, wait a minute, that's Bhanu. I didn't even look at the credits. I didn't even have to look at the credits. So and so I was like, oh, we have to get something and talk to Bhanu about this, because it's like I think you're so versatile, because like you have like that sort of Purane Zamana wala face, but then also you can play modern roles as well. So like you can play Ashok Kumar or Mahendra, but then at the same time a Jishu or a Rudrakal, and actually I've been watching Rudrakal, and the last week I actually started watching Rudrakal. I'm actually halfway through it, and I am thoroughly enjoying it, because yeah, and so I'm definitely going to look forward to watching your Amazon Prime series, because I think OTT is like definitely my favorite space at the moment.
Absolutely. And in that show, Mimi, so what happened, it began, ironically, all these jobs I got at the same time. So I got Bob Biswas. I came back after the first schedule of Bob Biswas. I got the Amazon Prime show. I was shooting for Bob Biswas. I'd almost finished. The lockdown happened. As soon as the lockdown was getting over, I got Rudrakal. So I was shooting for all these, the jobs I'd been waiting to do all my life simultaneously. And I must say this to all artists out there, all aspiring actors. You will hear a lot of crap about this business. Do this, do this, do that, PR, networking, all of that you'll hear. So I told you how I got this film, right? So today I am sitting at home. Day after, I'm probably doing the most important scene of my life. Okay. I'm sitting here on this chair. Abhishek Bachchan is sitting in front of me. That's the scene where we enroll him for the first time.
Yeah.
Where we tell him that you're going to work for us. Abhishek Bachchan is sitting in front of me. Sujoy Da is here watching. Dia is directing.
Yeah.
I had a very clear epiphany at that moment. I thought that if I had not spent, and that was like a 4-page scene. That's my scene. It's like a big scene.
Yeah, you're in charge of that scene.
I'm in charge of that scene, right? And it was very clear to me that if I had not spent all my time, all these 17 years preparing craft, today I would be regretting it. Because right now, when it's game time, nothing can save me but my craft. If I don't hit this out of the park, it's on me. Because here is the opportunity. Here is the thing you were waiting for all your life.
To make the most of that opportunity.
Now showtime. Now do what you have to do. So I just felt, and that is one of my favorite days on a film set ever, because it's a big scene for a film. If a 4-page scene takes a long time to shoot, so they had planned the whole day to shoot it.
Yeah.
But the scene went so well, we packed up by lunch.
Oh,
and it was so memorable. I was so happy. And it was almost like this 17 years of preparation was worth it. And I knew that it will all be useful from now on. Because also, because you are just working for work's sake. There is people would ask me, what the hell are you preparing for? What do you need to prepare for? And even I didn't know. Even I didn't know what I was preparing for. But I would just tell them, my job is to be the best actor I can be. My job is to fulfill my potential that God has given me. I don't know whether it's used, not used, what will happen, what won't happen. But in that moment, on that day, on Bob's set, I knew and I thank God for giving me the sadbuddhi. I don't know what the English equivalent of that would be, but the sadbuddhi to just focus on the craft and everything else will fall into place.
And I think that's 100% like, I love that about you, because actually, and I'm a firm believer of that. It's like no preparation goes to waste. Like you can prepare for something like 10 years ago, but then it might come in handy now. And so it's 100% like you said. And I actually am a firm believer of that as well, completely. Like the way that you're excited about Bob Biswas, even I was excited about Bob Biswas, because I think definitely it has been probably one of the strongest films of the year for me. Yeah. It's so unique in its own way, and it doesn't kind of try to be it's like a predecessor, and it's so delicious on screen. I mean, it's so deliciously enticing.
I'm telling you, Mimi, mark my words, this is going to be one of the most loved films as time goes on, and as people just shed all their preconceived notions and keep coming to its fresh. They are going to keep falling in love with it, keep falling in love with it. It's going to keep growing as time goes on. You see,
and I love that, like the whole, like it leaves so much space for like even making a universe like of all these characters. Like I mean, there's Kalida, that he could have his own spin-off as well. Kalida, Jishu could have his own backstory, because it's so much to find out about Jishu's character that is not revealed. Like maybe there should be like almost like a prequel of Jishu's backstory of how he began his work. And hopefully, Dia, if you're listening,
and that's actually the magic of great writing, Mimi. That every character is so rich that you're right. Every character could have their own film.
Yeah.
And they're all filmed together. In fact, Bob also, if you see Bob's genesis, he was in a great film where all the characters were great, where all the characters could have their own film, Kahani, and Bob did end up having his own film. Similarly, this is a word.
His 8 minutes in Kahani made him have his own film in his own right.
Absolutely.
And I absolutely love that. And I just want to say, this has been such a great conversation. It's been so honest, and just it's so wonderful having you here talking about your journey.
You're so easy to talk to. I mean, I genuinely feel that, it's like I've known you for years, and
I know,
there are, I won't say two cinema lovers, one cinema lover and one acting lover having a conversation.
Yeah, and from when I was younger, I was always a cinema fan. Like, I mean, I grew up watching like the really filmy films like Karan Arjun, and then I obviously got into like more like watching world cinema. But then I've appreciated every kind of cinema. So, and what's really funny, this wasn't even my line of work. I actually was doing law before this. I have an LLM by education background, but then
I have to say, it's palpable. Your love for the movies, it's very palpable.
Yeah.
It's very obvious that this is not a job for you. It's what you love to do. It's your passion.
Exactly, yeah.
And people like that in the world.
And thank you. Yeah. And last year I did a Manto review. I'm not sure if you've got a chance to read it, but I'll send you actually the Manto review.
Please send it to me.
Yeah, and so I absolutely love like writing about like different films that have changed my life. And actually, Manto is one of the few films that has like had a really big impact on me. The film was so memorable, and I mean, I had seen you in everything before, but like I think with Manto, I was like, wow, he's an artist. He's a true artist. And so it's been, thank you so much for doing this conversation with me, and I'm so happy Bob Biswas is going so well, because this weekend is just, I think everyone's talking about Bob Biswas this weekend. Whoever I've talked to is kind of mentioning it as well, and so hopefully one day if I'm in Bombay or you come to London for a film, or we should do this in person as well.
Definitely. And I want to give unsolicited advice to you, because it would be remiss if I didn't. You should make a film in
me.
Yes, people who really love the cinema are the ones who should make a film. That's what Tarantino said. Tarantino says you don't need to know anything about filmmaking. You just need to love films. You should make a film.
That's such a lovely compliment. Actually, what's really funny is my brother. He actually he did filmmaking. So he's actually writing his first film. Hopefully, yeah, maybe I could work with him alongside on that because
and also make your own film. You should make your own film.
Okay. Well, can I consider you to act in my film?
Definitely. Now you have to. Now I'll be like, oh, I only asked her to make one. Now I have to do it.
Now I'm gonna ask you. You're gonna have to do this now. You're gonna have to do this film for me because I'm doing this because of you. You're gonna have to be in my film. But yes, hopefully, if I write something, yeah, I will definitely call you and Shalini and as well. Shalini's been so wonderful to talk to on WhatsApp as well, and so please give her my love also. And yeah, so hopefully we can talk more about your Amazon series next year in February.
Definitely, we'll definitely have a conversation about that because that is again, it's going to be great. We'll just talk about it when it comes.
I think so. Yes, definitely. All the best to you, Bhanu, and enjoy this weekend.
Thank you for doing this. It was a sheer pleasure. Thank you so much.
For me too. So thank you. Take care, Bhanu. Bye.
Thank you so much, Mimi. Take care.
You too. Bye.